Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Good evening. If you were following me yesterday on my last live, I was doing the car podcast. I was in the car. You knew what I said yesterday. I said manage your expectations. I said this yesterday, and of course, my I won't say greatest fear, but I knew this was going to happen. This guy right here to the right, the first Indian judge. I'm going there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going there. I'm going there. I am going there, ladies and gentlemen. You know, it was always a conversation about whether or not Kamala was black or was she Indian. Kamala Harris. I said Kamala Harris was Indian. She wasn't black. Oh, yes, said Mr. Bryan. Why are you saying that? What's it got to do with this judge? The first Indian judge. Remember, he got appointed during the Biden administration. He was endorsed by Chuck Schumer, and of course, Sleepy Joe was sleeping at the wheel. So who else was in command? Who was the real commander in chief during that time? It was Kamala Harris. It was there that I said she might be cosplaying. I'm a black woman. Stop it, lady. I listen. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but it's very rarely you're gonna fool me all the time. And I wasn't buying it. I want to go there, guys. I just have to go there. I have to. I just want. Oh, yes, Mr. Bryan, hold back. Don't go there. I gotta go there. I gotta go there. I gotta go there at this point. I never thought that this judge was going to give Sean Diddy Combs a fair shake. I never thought it. I've been around a long time, ladies and gentlemen. I know how to read the room. I was not buying this judge. And some of you say he was fair. I sat in that courtroom, ladies and gentlemen. I sat there. I listened to him. And there was a few little things he was doing. I'll give you an example. When there was a complaint made by the prosecution team headed by Maureen Comey that Mr. Combs is looking at the jurors and making motions and doing this and doing that. He instead of this guy right here, this guy to the right, this guy here, you know what I'm talking about, this guy right here, the judge. Instead of him saying, well, Mr. Combs has the right to talk to his attorneys, and he gave Combs the heavy hand. He gave him the heavy hand, Mr. Combs, the heavy hand approach. And warning him, wait a minute, this man is fighting for his life. And you want to tell this man he cannot have an expression on his face? That was one thing. Then it was those lopsided rulings. I said, listen, my skin folk ain't my kinfolk. We ain't really my kinfolk, my skin folk either. No, guys, you don't want me to go there. I'm trying to be nice here. You put a 1 in the chat if you want me to be nice tonight. Or put a 2 in there. You tell me, let it go. Unload the whole clip. I'm in America. I'm a black man in America. And it's not too much to get past me. I need to unload this right now. It's It's resting heavy on my heart, ladies and gentlemen. It's resting heavy on my heart. I sort of play in the very beginning. I said, you take a rookie judge that was appointed in 2023 during the Biden administration. Kamala Harris said, I got to get one of my people up in there. She said, I got to get one of my people up in there. We don't have any Indian judges. We got to get one up in there. Not saying the guy's not qualified for a state court. I don't know about federal court. I mean, I knew he clerked with the late Ruth Ginsburg. But I'm telling you, this guy right here, he wants to make an example. You want people to take him serious. He's coming in as the first Indian judge for a district court in the district of New York. And you want people to take him serious. Okay, you want me to hold back, guys? I really want to let go. I really want to go in on this character. You know what? He put his pants on just like I do. So I ain't no fear in my heart. I'm not scared. He said, oh, please, be nice to the judge. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. The people have been hoodwinked. Those who support Mr. Combs has been hoodwinked. I saw the play come down a mile away. It's very interesting that this particular judge, and we're gonna bring his ruling up. We're gonna bring it up. And I want to tell you something. Don't look at the defense like they messed up. No, they did. Listen, let me tell you something. I cross-checked the cases that they cited, and this is ripe for an appeal. This is ripe. This case is ripe for an appeal. It's a blind eye to the disparity in justice for Mr. Combs. I read his ruling. I said, oh, this reeks with disdain. This order reeks with disdain for Mr. Combs. This order, I said yesterday, you can go ahead and listen to my video that I did yesterday. I said the judge is only trying to find a reason not to give him on, to keep him in. To keep him in. Don't think because your skin color looks like my skin color that you understand the struggles of a black man in America. Don't think that you get automatic carte blanche. Black community. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. As I sat in the courtroom, I listened to him. I listened to how he addressed the prosecution and how his tonage kind of shifted for defense. I said, oh, hell to the no, no, no. This guy is a ringer for the government. Despite the fact that he's part of the Department of Justice, he's under that umbrella. Come on. I don't care what, listen, ladies and gentlemen, watch, I told you, I said this earlier on. Watch this guy. You students, you law students, go ahead and order his. Just go sit in some of his cases, the trials, the criminal trials. This guy was brought in specifically to put his foot on Mr. Combs' neck, in my opinion. This is my opinion. I could be wrong. But if you guys are going to be real honest, I pretty much called this case. If you're going to be honest, I pretty much called this. See, I have the benefit of not only being in many federal courtrooms, state courtrooms across the nation. And my gut told me, from listening to this guy here at the right, Sean Combs was going to get the short end of the stick. And you guys can say, Mr. Byron, you're being a little unfair with the judge. He's being unfair. Let's go ahead and read this. I'll be like Mr. Still, and guys, I really want to go in. Please just don't be mad at me if I go in, ladies and gentlemen. If I go in tonight, don't judge me. Don't judge me. I've been trying to hold back. I saw all the people that were coming out just filing these frivolous lawsuits. They thought Mr. Combs was down and out. He was going to get found guilty and was going to be sent away for the rest of his life. That's what they were banking on. That's what they were banking on. The government wanted to take his assets by any means necessary. How the heck you indict a man on this bogus RICO case? You have to investigate cases. You present your case to a grand jury, but in the grand jury, you can indict a ham sandwich. You can indict a ham sandwich. Very minimal evidence. But when you have to go into a trial and now argue a RICO case, this was put together like, I don't know, it's just put together like puzzles that didn't even fit in its position, in its place. And this judge didn't see this? Are you telling me this judge who called for Ruth Ginsburg didn't see this? He saw this crap. He had to. He had to see this. I'm telling you, I've dealt with all kinds of people in my life. I worked with all kinds of people in my life. I worked with blacks, Italians, Jewish people. I even had a partnership in a restaurant with an Indian guy. I just say Indian guy. And I'll be honest with you. In each one of those instances, I was able to glean some interesting things about these various individuals. But I don't want to go there because some of you say, Mr. Byron, you should be saying this. You gotta be really, unbiased. Well, listen, you need a little bias when you've been around a long time. You see what I've seen. You need a little bias. The scale of justice has tilted, ladies and gentlemen. The scale of justice that we call the blindfolded lady has tilted in this case for Sean Combs. Those last two counts he was found guilty of, those were last-ditch effort type of charges. Let's just put this on here. We got to get something. We got to get the minimal. They spent millions of dollars for these two counts. And you think this guy here, This guy right here is going to allow the Department of Justice, where his check is cut from, to show some grace. Y'all can say what you want about Mr. Combs. We, and Mr. Agniflio, in his recent filing, basically covered what we've been saying all along. What happened with Cassie was wrong. It happened 9 years ago, going on 10 years ago. Jane Doe said in her testimony that it was her that pushed when he bent down to tie his shoe, she smashed his head in the counter and screamed on him, saying he was a petty because he was dating a child. Is because he was dating young Miami, and he was showing her love. He was doing some of the things he wasn't doing with the other ones. Gave her a show. She was popping on a show, taking her to shopping, buying all the beautiful things. But Jane Doe snapped at that moment. She snapped on him. So not only is Jane Doe a John, but also snapped at that man. She snapped on him and she threw lit candle, hot wax on him, she was just going crazy. So Mr. Combs was going to take that standing up. Not to say, what's crazy? They didn't show any pictures of the injuries. Guess why they didn't show any pictures? Because he never reported it. That's why you didn't see pictures of his injuries. But she knew what she was doing. She knew at that moment, after he had settled with Cassie, she had to get under his skin, get him to turn up on her. She knew that she needed something because she didn't have all the evidence that Cassie had when it came to the DV. She needed something. She needed something to tell a story. Then she has the audacity to hug the prosecution and defense after she gave her awful testimony. But, listen, this judge witnessed all this. He's seen all this. Let's go ahead and look at his ruling. Let's go look at his ruling. Let's humor the people and let's look at it. It's only a 2-page, ladies and gentlemen, just a 2-page. Let's go ahead and bring it up here. I'm going to bring it up here. Stand by. I'm going to have to get your face up out of here, sir. I just don't trust you, sir. I really don't. In this instance, I really don't. They say your first impressions is lasting. And he gave me a first impression already. I got a first impression of him. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Shout out to JC. I see you, JC. I see you in the building. I see you in the building. All right. All right, guys. I'm going to read this just to, just. Okay, here you go. Let me just go ahead and go on it. Yeah. All right, this is an order that came down within an hour. Because I was watching the docket. all day. I was kept on checking. I said, let me watch this docket. Let me see the foolishness he's about to put out. And let me tell you something. I knew already that the time that he took to put this together, and it didn't feel like this guy was in a rush to give Mr. Combs his bad news. But let's go. Aaron Subaranian, United States District Court Judge. Defendant Sean Combs renews his request for bail pending his sentencing. On this application, Combs doesn't contest that detention is mandatory for his crimes of conviction. He relies solely on the limited exceptions to mandatory detention where, one, the court finds by clear and convincing evidence that the person is not likely to flee or pose a danger to the safety of any other person or the community if released. Then he cites section USC section 314A1 and 3145C. And there are two exceptional reasons why such person's detention would not be appropriate. Then he cites another case. Exceptional reasons exist where there's a unique combination of circumstances giving rise to the situations that are out of the ordinary. United States v. Colon. This is a case that I believe Mr. Agnifilio cited. 821 Federal App X 39 and 41, Second Circuit 2020. Quote, United States v. DeSama 951 F2D. I'm going to read it verbatim. 494, 497, Second Circuit 1991. This is another case from 91. This statutory framework creates a presumption in favor of detention that places a plainly substantial burden of proof on the defendant seeking release. And he cites another case, Lloyd v. United States, 874 702 and 703, Second Circuit 2021 case. Quoting United States v. Albemarle, 389 F3D, 309, 319, Second Circuit 2004 case. As for risk of flight or danger, Combs fails to meet his burden by clear and convincing evidence for the reasons set forth on the record on July 2nd, 2025. Well, I'm going to pause there. For a second. On that day, the day the verdict came back, the judge wanted the attorneys to write their briefs that day, not affording them an opportunity to perfect it in a manner in which this would have been addressed more, I would just say more, with more thought. Because there were certain things that was omitted from that day until the most recent filing by the defense. And the defense argued that had they had enough time, they wouldn't have to rush through because the judge said he wants to get an answer by, first it was 1:30, 2 o'clock, then it ended up being like 5 something. But it's my belief that it was, it was kind of rushed. I'm not saying that it wasn't a competent filing. I'm just saying it was rushed. In any event, increasing the amount of the bond or devising additional conditions doesn't change the calculus given the circumstances and heavy burden of proof that Combs bears. Oh, so I don't care if he was going to, he doesn't care if he was going to give $1 million or $50 million. Judge, the crap. 1 million or 50, it doesn't change the calculus. It does change the calculus. He has more to lose if he tried to run. So it does change the calculus, sir. See docket 470 at 8142 through 43. At trial, the defense conceded that defendant's violence in his personal relationships, this type of violence, which happens behind closed doors, is impossible to police with conditions. On this basis alone, Combs' application is denied. Hold on a second, Judge. Now he keeps referring to Mr. Agnifilio's, what he said in his closing argument. And this is for those who was in the courtroom, because I was in the courtroom when Mr. Agnifilio was giving his closing arguments. So what Mr. Agnifilio essentially said was, they're not going to argue about what was on that video in 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel because it's on video. They conceded that is what they saw. They weren't conceding that he was a violent person. They said that if he was charged only with that incident, he would take a plea. And for those who were in the courtroom, that's what he said. Mr. Combs would take a plea. The judge is hanging his hat on those words. But Mr. Aniflio, in my humble opinion, was just conceding that that is on video. We're not arguing that. Had there been a plea offer and this was a case where they could have charged him for that, they would have Mr. Combs took a plea. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about these other bogus charges that the government decided to, I won't say manufacture, but I won't say manufactured, and put on Mr. Combs. The RICO and the sex trafficking, yeah, those things were excessive. Because when we listen to the testimony, ladies and gentlemen, the witnesses made the case for Mr. Combs. He didn't have to call anyone in. He used the words. This was judo. This was a judo maneuver that Mr. Agnifilo used in his closing. And forget his closing. This was even during the cross-examinations. This was masterful. How did Mr. Combs beat the Southern District of New York in a RICO case with no witnesses? He didn't have to testify because he used the witnesses the government brought in against them. So the judge says, for that reason, Combs' application is denied. Even if flight or danger requirements was satisfied, there are no exceptional reasons warranting a departure from what Congress has required. Yes, sir, there is an exceptional reasons. And Mr. Agnifilo articulated in his last filing. Mr. Combs has been in a detention center for 11 months. He's in a jail. Because if he was so violent, there would be infractions written up for him fighting, engaging in criminality while he's in there. Because if you're violent, that's going to come out in that kind of setting. That's going to come out. That's going to be plain and simple. He caught no infractions or tickets while he was in there. So that should be the test. That should be the test. What he does while he's in there for 11 months. Not something that happened 9 years ago. Because he's in a facility with varying personalities. And if he's going to be tested, that's the test right there. So exceptional reasons warranting a departure from the Congress has required. Combs' Mann Act arguments might have traction in a case that didn't involve evidence of violence, coercion, or subjugation in the connection with the acts of prostitution at issue. But the record here contains evidence of all three. Your Honor, where's the coercion? Jane Doe, Cassie, benefited, participated, and enjoyed the freak-offs. That's one thing that you cannot deny, sir, because they said it. I heard it with my ears. They engaged and they enjoyed it. And don't say I'm blaming victims. They weren't victims. This is not, first of all, the prostitution, it takes two to tangle. In this case, it was three. But the fact of the matter is, we're talking about consenting adults engaging in a lifestyle. The judge is hanging his hat again on violence. The jury didn't find Mr. Combs guilty of any violence in the Mann Act, but this is very telling because he's the same person who will be sentencing Mr. Combs on October 3rd. But the record here contains evidence of all three? I don't think so. But again, this is your courtroom, sir. While Combs may contend at sentencing that this evidence should be discounted and that what happened, let me make this smaller, guys, because I have some covering it. was nothing more than a case of willing swingers utilizing the voluntary services of escorts for their mutual pleasure. The government takes the opposite view. Cantor and Jane were beaten, coerced, threatened, lied to, and victimized by Combs as part of their participation in these. Okay, Judge. See, this is I want to say something. This is the BS right here, Judge. The jurors, ladies and gentlemen, didn't buy that. Because they did, they would have found him guilty of the ST. They didn't find that. So this judge is already in this last line signaling that he's leaning towards the prosecution. He's leaning towards there. Don't believe me? The writing's there. That makes this case unlike any of the cases Combs points to and places it outside the narrow exception to detention that Congress otherwise deemed mandatory. Keep resting on Congress. You are the judge in this case, and you have latitude and the wherewithal to make the ruling and give them bond. To be clear, as indicated at the July 2nd hearing, the court offers no view as to how the parties' competing arguments about the evidence will cash out for purposes of sentencing, which is happening in just 60 days. At this juncture, however, the record doesn't establish the kind of out of the ordinary exceptional circumstance requiring immediate release. So he just ignored all the issues that was raised by Mr. Agnifilo in his memorandum from yesterday. Ignored all that. He don't give a damn that Mr. Combs' life may be in jeopardy. He don't care about none of that. He's at the MDC. He don't care. He don't view this as exceptional circumstances, which is sad of Mr. Combs' dormitory or where he's housed at. None of that is exceptional. This judge don't care about that. Combs also points to the squalor and danger of the Metropolitan Detention Center. I just was talking about this. Conditions that he says have been aggravated by the federal government's aggressive budget cuts this year. The public outcry concerning these conditions has come from all corners. But as Combs acknowledges, NBC staff has been able to keep him safe and attend to his needs, even during an incident of threatened violence from an inmate in the United States v. Chavez, 710 F sub 3D 227. This is a recent case. This is last year. The court found that the conditions at MDC rose to the level of exceptional reasons warranting release, where it was undisputed that the defendant posed no risk of flight or danger, and where unique circumstances counseled release, including defendant's advanced age, and where the unique circumstances counsel release, including the defendant's advanced age, and serious medical conditions, which require care that the MDC may not be able to provide. Those facts are not presented here, and nothing in Chavez suggests that exceptional reasons warrant release for every person awaiting sentencing in the MDC. Rather, the MDC is a factor, admittingly a serious one, to consider along with others in making the determination. For those reasons, as well as those stated on the record at the July 2nd hearing, Combs fails to satisfy his burden to demonstrate an entitlement to be released. The motion for bail is denied. Now, you heard me. All right, guys. So this is what we have here. This is what we have here, ladies and gentlemen. This is crazy. This is nonsense. I said yesterday, I don't know if you guys caught my live yesterday, but I said this judge is going to find every reason to not grant this Mr. Combs a bond. That's what he was looking for. He wasn't looking for. He wasn't looking for a out for Mr. Combs. He was looking for more of an in for Mr. Combs. This is oh my goodness. I see someone said a pardon may be something down the pipeline. Let me say this. I read the room when Mr. Trump did his interview on Newsmax. The timing was impeccable. Once he did that interview, the judge was in the process of considering bond. When he signaled to the public, judge included, that he would not likely pardon Mr. Combs, the judge just said, okay, it's time for him to empty the clip. And y'all said maybe he's being Mr. Trump's being coy. He's got on a platform that supports him immensely. It's like a extension of his media arm of what he does. I don't think he would get on Newsmax and say that if he wasn't serious. I don't think so. I wish he had not said anything, but why would that? And I'm going to say something else. And I don't think that question came from left field. If you sit down with the president of the United States, they have to provide him questions in advance for national security. They had to provide President Trump with every question in advance. So this was a prepared response. If you guys don't believe that, this was a prepared response. You're just not going to sit in front of the commander in chief and just have a free for all and ask any kind of questions. This was prepared, and he knew exactly what he was going to say when he said it, and he knew the impact what it would have had, because we knew days earlier, based on watching the TMZ, or I think it was on the website, that there were talks within the administration about possibly pardoning Mr. Combs. Well, once he went on Newsmax. I said, "This is not happening, guys. I'm so sorry to tell you this, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen." And JC said, "Why do I think he came out early?" Well, he actually come out initially. Well, he did say that. I stand corrected. We talking about the first instance. Well, if anyone's followed Mr. Trump for as long as I followed him, even when he had his reality show, he's very coy, but he's also someone that he stands on loyalty. He stands on loyalty. And if he's going to if he's going to have a chip on his shoulder about what Puff said early on, which Puff should probably not said anything, it's weird. When you at that level, you got to be very careful of what you say when it comes to the political landscape. And I went to one party where it was a Diddy party. Was it a Diddy party? I believe it was a Diddy party. That President Trump was there. He wasn't the president at the time. And it's like, I still move by certain codes. I still move by that. You can't be someone that I'm kicking away. We're in a circle, and then and we maybe did business. There may have been exchange of funds, maybe somewhere down the line. I know Puff supported his businesses, but Puff probably should have just, he was trying to take the, I'm going to support my people route. And I get that sometimes you got to support them in silence. Sometimes you got to move in silence. Sometimes you got to move in silence. And I think that at this point, what is the value for President Trump to give Puffy a pardon unless Puff has become a MAGA and he becomes a Republican? Because the Democrats play Puff. If Puff was riding for the Puff was talking about starting a new party, so he was straddling the fence. But I think the Democrats did him wrong. I think the Democrats did him wrong. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. The Democrats did Puff wrong. Puff, I wouldn't have a problem if Puff went to another party. I wouldn't have a problem. I would not have a problem, ladies and gentlemen, if Puff decided to go to another party whenever he gets the opportunity to do that. Because let's be honest, everything from Damian Williams to the six pack of and this is, I'm quoting Mark Gerrico, six pack of white women, to this judge here. It's all Democrats. They're all Democrats. Listen. Don't listen. I'm just calling what the way I see it. This guy right here, he's endorsed by a Democrat. He's Chuck Schumer, New York State Senator, appointed by the president and the vice president, of course, because she was pretty much at the wheel. You don't think she was, but she was at the wheel driving. She was at the wheel driving. And she said, I got to get one of my people up in here. I got to get my people up in here. She said, this is historic. This is part of my legacy. She's going to, listen, I'm telling you, it's going to be years later. She's going to come back and say, I got one of mine in as a district judge. I know what the play is. I know what the play is. Sir, this ruling that you, come on, sir. I see that smug look on your face. I see it. That's how you was looking in the courtroom. This is how you was looking when you was giving those rulings against the defense. You had that same look on your face. You had that same look on your face. I saw it. The disdain you had for Mr. Combs. I saw it. He even said, Your Honor, he thanked you. I know it must have ate you up because you knew you was about to baptize him. You knew what you was about to do. And he was showing you grace and kindness. I've seen that look before. I've seen that look before, ladies and gentlemen. He ain't fooling nobody, sir. He ain't fooling nobody. Listen, one thing for certain, two things for sure. If you've been around as long as I've been around, you've seen this kind before. You've seen this kind before. Yo, think Unc don't know what he's talking about. At this point, Puff would probably did better with a Jewish lawyer. Excuse me, a judge. They said, don't make this about race. What are you talking about? Don't make this about race. Do you know how racist this country has been to people of color? Y'all don't want to have that conversation. I know some of you say, Mr. Byron, you shouldn't say that. That's just we come a long way. Yeah, we came a long way, but we went the wrong way. We came a long way, but some have went the wrong way. I said, Mr. Byron, it's not really racist anymore. You know. You don't think it's racist? Hmm? Who wanted to get rid of DEI? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. This guy is a benefactor of DEI. Mr. Combs had the most diverse defense team from Italian, Jewish, Black, Latino. Come on, he had the most females, males, most diverse. He's always in his business like that. Always. He just like exotic ladies. I don't know. But he loved Kim Porter. She's a sister from Columbia, Georgia. I went to her funeral. He loved Kim Porter. No, get your. No, listen. Listen. Noah, calm down, Noah. Calm down, Noah. We on one right now, Noah. We on one. If listen, if I can't be honest with you, I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. But I have to call it as I see it. I knew this thing wasn't gonna go for Puff. I said it yesterday. I knew this thing wasn't going for I was very, very, very reluctant that this would went the way some was hoping. Well, the good thing is he's coming home. He's coming home. But just listen to or look at what the judge said on the last paragraph of the first page. He's already signaling. You didn't peep that? You didn't peep what he said? I peeped it. He started talking about Congress and this and the judge. Cut the crap. Because this ruling could have been written totally different. You have the discretion. It's not mandatory that he doesn't get a bond, because if it was mandatory, it was no need to have these memorandums. If it's mandatory, there was flexibility. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the reality that we live in 2025. This is the reality. Come on, Renee, stop it. Renee. Yes, civil cases, Renee. Stop it, Renee. Stop it. Don't be that person, Renee. Exactly, Judith. Exactly. Stand by. Hold on a second. Hold on. Michael Parker, appreciate the super chat. The judge is I won't read that out loud. I won't do that. Oh, let me take that away. What are you trying to do? Listen, I get I appreciate the super chat, but listen. We gotta, I can't say stuff like that. I can't say something. And that, he wouldn't even be quiet. Listen, to say that about the judge, you would have to say that he's he's a black man if we to believe that he's not a black man. He's not. Far from it. He's far from it. But we ain't talking about that right now. But look at him. Look at him. That's how he was looking in the court. That's how he was looking in the court. Judge, listen. I don't want no smoke with you. I don't want no smoke with you. I might have to get the MTA lady. She'll bring the smoke. Anyone know who the MTA lady is? Shout out to Candy. You guys have to know. I don't think you all know who the MTA lady is. JC know who I'm talking about. Candy don't give a damn. She was in the court saying, "Listen, Candy don't give a damn." Candy don't care. Oh man. Oh my goodness. Listen, when you go to New York, or if you're in New York on October 3rd, this man's expectations. I just think his attorneys should just focus on the appeal. This is this judge's biggest case. He wants to go down in history. He wants to go down in history. He wants to go down in history because none of the cases that you're going to have coming through. I mean, all the big cases are gone. Then I got Gotti out of here. Then I got Noriega. Then I got Chapo. It's nothing big. Listen. First of all, you're not getting the Luigi case. They're not. No. They will not put you on a Luigi case. They're not letting you nowhere near that Luigi case. They say you go hound Puff. They're not letting you near Luigi. Sir. No way. They're not letting you nowhere Luigi. And you don't want to be near Luigi case either. You don't want to be near that case. I'm just being honest, guys. I'm just being honest. I can lie to you and say, hey, this guy, he's one of the best they have. Not. He's not. Well, hold on, guys. Hold on. Listen, guys. So now, listen, I got another document I'm going to bring up. I was trying to spare this other situation, but I got to bring it up, guys. Now that we're here, now that we know what this judge is going to do, I'm going to put this banner here. I need you guys to go ahead because I'm about to bring another court document up. This is Puff related. Let's stand by. Let's see which one I have here. Let me put this banner up. I want you guys to go and support the platform here. We're about to go in. Yeah, we're going to put this one up here. Let's see what we're going to do here. We're about to go in. I got another one here. Okay. Let me grab this other document. Yeah, let's see here. Let me go ahead and grab that one. Let me grab this one here. So that one here, let me grab that one, pull that one up here. Dum. Let's see here. Okay, hold on, guys. That's on the other system. Let me go grab it. Stand by here. Let me put some music on until I come back. Stand by. right, guys. All right. We're back.
You've been on my mind a little more than usual.
What the heck? No, we don't want that. We don't want that. Okay, we don't want that. We good. All right. It's better than elevator music, ladies and gentlemen. And she's pretty dope, by the way. Okay, let me grab these docs. Okay, we have 3 of them, actually. Let's see here. I'll grab that one first. All right, here we go. So, one of the, I could make this a different video, but this is a case involving someone that I interviewed that decided he wanted to sue Puff. I interviewed him back in 2023. 2023, 2024, 24. And it was not too long after the Cassie lawsuit. So apparently he filed a lawsuit. Shout out to Relentless Aaron. So in this lawsuit, and he told me a story of what happened back in the 90s. And apparently he was leaving the club. And this is the story he told me. He was leaving the club, and there was some words exchanged between, according to him, Puff and maybe someone from Puff's entourage. And there was some type of car chase. It's not Lil Rod, by the way. But let me bring this up here. Move that. Let me get you up out of here, Judge. Get you up out of here, sir. I got to get you up out of here. So, let's see, what is this here? Let me make sure it's the right one. Hold on here. Oh, hold on. No, that's not it. Yeah, move that up out of here. Well, hold on. Yeah, no, we need to get that out of here. That's wrong. We don't want that up in here. Remove that one. Remove that one. Add that one. Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. So this is the complaint that Mr. DeWitt filed against Puff. And this was filed this year. Was filed last year, November 3rd of last year. A day before Puff's birthday, because Puff's birthday is on November 4th. And I don't know if this was a coincidence. Relentless, this might have been timing. So in this lawsuit, a plaintiff, DeWitt Gilmore, by and through this complaint, states that the following against defendant Sean Combs, also known as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, and Diddy, Bad Boys Entertainment Incorporated, and any affiliate companies or entities responsible for employing the bodyguards or associates involved in the incident described below. Okay, so who are the bodyguards? That was missing from this. I noticed that too, because bodyguards is, as a blanket statement. Who's the bodyguards? So this was filed pro se, meaning he filed it on his, without an attorney. Now think about this. You're filing a lawsuit against Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, without an attorney. It's suicidal. I don't mean suicidal, but Mr. Combs has an arsenal of attorneys, both civil and criminal. And the lawsuit it's not going to go anywhere. In this case, it didn't go anywhere. Let's see what. Okay, so in his complaint, here's the factual allegations. On a night in the summer of 1996, now think about the date. Plaintiff DeWitt Gilmore was assaulted by defendant Sean Combs and a group of his associates, including his bodyguard, on a street in New York City after exiting a club. So, ladies and gentlemen, I interviewed him. In my interview, he never mentioned that Mr. Combs assaulted him. He never mentioned that, which I thought was odd because I asked him in my interview, did Puff actually do anything to you? Plaintiff, in the company of his friends, Lance Kalf and Rico, approached his vehicle and the Zuzu trooper parked near the club. As plaintiff and his friends prepared to leave, defendants Combs and his associates pulled up in a gold convertible with defendant Combs positioned in the passenger seat and his bodyguard driving. Defendant Combs initiated a verbal confrontation with plaintiff, taunting him with derogatory language and escalating the situation with threats of violence. His words, including "What's up, bitch," were intended to provoke and intimidate plaintiff. Their encounter rapidly intensified as defendant Combs' bodyguard and additional vehicles carrying armed associates joined to form an entourage surrounding plaintiff's vehicle. Defendant Combs and his associates blocked plaintiff's car. Well, if Puff is the passenger, does he have the ability to block any car? Creating a sense of immediate danger. So this is what has been alleged. Count two, battery. Count two, battery. Was there a police report filed? I think I asked him in an interview, was there a police report filed? And I think he told me, I'm almost certain he told me, no, there wasn't a police report filed, because when this incident allegedly occurred, there is a Midtown, this happened in New York City, a Midtown South police station in that area. But there was never a police report filed. And this is 1996. Just think about that. So it sounds like there was, according to him, there was some, he told me there was a car chase and there was running up and down Manhattan. But he never said that Mr. Combs assaulted him, nor from his complaint, Mr. Combs even drove the vehicle. Ultimately, this case was dismissed. And I had to go through all the details, but this case was dismissed. And the judge essentially told him that if he tries to file an appeal in this case, it would be in bad faith. Meaning, this case, he never stated what was his actual what was actually done wrong to him. So the judge basically kicked the case that, kicked it out of his courtroom. It was just kicked out. But my point is, there are people that will file a lawsuit against Sean Combs. And this case, I'm surprised if this was something serious. Why didn't you file it back in the 90s? That's when you're supposed to file something like this. You file a police report, you articulate what happened, but that's not street. That's that is something that they were. I don't know. It's just crazy that this is 2025, 2024. You file this type of lawsuit. It's just kind of crazy. The people are motivated for whatever reason, but the point is that people are just jumping out the window, just filing lawsuits all over the place. All over the place, ladies and gentlemen. And it's, it's kind of crazy that people would have Been running to the court had he been found guilty of the serious charges. Stand by, guys. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. What the heck you doing over here in the comment section? Right. Yeah, Winter, 30 years ago. 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Listen, 30 years ago, and you didn't get a scratch on you? Where's your claim at? That's what the judge said. You haven't articulated a claim. What is the claim? 30 years ago. I'm just not playing myself like that. I'm sorry, sir. It was a good story for your book. You know, you have a book out. But to file a lawsuit, come on, man. What the heck were you thinking? Y'all didn't put nobody pulled 30 years ago. 30 years ago. So this was I would argue this was a frivolous lawsuit being filed. That's what it was, a frivolous lawsuit. A frivolous lawsuit. Just crazy. But these, you know, if you look at some of the lawsuits that have been filed, a shout out to Ariel Mitchell. They're coming for you too, Ariel. They are coming for your law license. They're coming for your law license. And for those who don't know, attorney Ariel Mitchell, I hadn't really talked about this, and I had the paperwork and everything, but attorney Ariel Mitchell, who was practicing law in Florida, I believe she's a resident of Georgia now, is under she's under review by the Florida Supreme Court because of some things that she had alleged and stated in a public setting that now they call to the carpet for. She's also being sued by Sean Combs for $50 million. $50 million. $50 million. $50 million. And you're probably saying, why is he suing her in particular for $50 million? Well, the person that she represented made some very serious allegations, and then she was on several platforms with this client pushing a certain narrative. Then in one of her recent filings, she basically said, hey, I didn't say it, he said it. No, you can't do that. I didn't say, lady, you can't say, I didn't say he said it. You're his attorney. You are his counsel. You counsel him. You ask him the questions. You guys came to New York and sat with the DOJ, but never got called as a witness. I remember you were up in, I think TMZ caught you. Shout out to my homegirl at TMZ. They caught you in New York. But they didn't want to call you as a witness. A lot of people didn't get called as witnesses that were on the internet talking. A lot of you didn't get called as witnesses. Not you, Gene Dale. Not you, Jaguar Wright. You got called as content creators on YouTube, not as witnesses. Your guys got called as content creators. Telling some of the most incredible stories. You were telling some of the most incredible stories. I mean, I get it. Grasp a hold of a big name celebrity and, milk it. That's what you do. Milk it. Yo, milked it. Jaguar Wright, you came to the courthouse. The court outside, you didn't even go inside. Jaguar, I don't think Jaguar went inside. Hey, JC, did you see Jaguar inside? Because I didn't see Jaguar inside the courthouse. I didn't see her. I saw Gene Deal pull up, I think 2 to 3 times. I saw Gene Deal pull up. He came and went to the overflow room. Wasn't there that long. He came in maybe 2 hours, if that much, and left. And left. Didn't sit there from start to Gene did not put a full day of court coverage. He wasn't there a full day. For all the times, cumulative times that he showed up, it didn't amount to a full day. In and out. Heard some testimony and bounced. I know you can say 10 years down the road, well, I came to this trial. No, sir, you didn't. You didn't stay in the trial. You didn't listen to all the witness testimony. You didn't. You couldn't tell me how this witness mannerisms were because you weren't there. You weren't there. Yeah, I see what you said. All hell. I see what you say. Yeah, a lot of you are mad. Let me just say this. A lot of you are mad at Diddy that never met him in your life. You never was in a room with him. Yo, I would argue that 99% of the people that are talking about Mr. Combs was never in a room with him. Never in a room with him. You might have went to a club party. He was there, but you guys that you're just doing too much. Too much. But y'all won't give the same. Y'all won't have the same energy for people who really are doing damage with their policies. You don't give them the smoke. You really don't. But I digress. It's just I get it. He's the boogeyman. We need a boogeyman. Every year we need a boogeyman. So Puff is the boogeyman. I wish your guys gave Abercrombie and Fitch guys the same kind of smoke. He's the boogeyman. We scared of him. He might come on. He may come on, be under our bed at night. Come on. Anybody scared? No one's scared of Sean Combs. I'm not. I'm not. Never was. Never felt it. Listen. All this, he's dangerous and nah. I said what the judge did. I saw what he did in his order. I peeped it. I saw what he did. I saw what the judge did. Puffy's no boogeyman. Puffy's no boogeyman. He hired thousands of people to work for him. Where are they at? Did they come out and say he was a bad employer rather? They didn't come out and say that. He paid, listen, I heard testimony with this guy. He paid his people, at least his executive team, handsomely. Paid them well. He paid them well. Listen. I got to be careful. I don't really have to be careful about a damn thing, but I'll be sure. Yeah, he was doing too much too. I have to say, he, He's close with one of my people, very close with one of my people, but I had to say he was doing too much. He was doing too much. That's why I didn't really I didn't really look at none of these documentaries. None of them. I didn't look at none of them. I don't think I watched not one documentary about Sean Combs. Not one of them. I don't know who watched the documentaries, but I'm sure there were a lot of there was documentaries that didn't pan out from this trial. I didn't watch the documentaries, but I know there were people that were getting on, um, saying some of the craziest things. And it was, they were trying to do this like the Survivor and R. Kelly document, with these documentaries. I know that was the plan. I watched the Survivor and R. Kelly, I think maybe 1 and 2, just because I knew some of the people that were in it. But I don't even know at this point, ladies and gentlemen, if this case, his liquor brand company that he sued might have had their finger on the scale. I don't know. Because I know that the government has spent all this money with these witnesses that they had the opportunity to interview to take that type of L. They took a big L. They took a big L. They had to see it coming. They had to see it coming. From each witness testimony, they had to room. This is not going well for you, Miss Comey, the former U.S. attorney. This wasn't going well for you. I used to come out and say, listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is not going well. Her testimony was Mia, it was bad. Jane Doe, it was bad. Cassie, it was bad. And we don't know that the liquor brand who's now being sued, Diageo, again, they're being accused of watering down their tequila. Tequila. I don't really drink tequila. They're accused of watering down the brand. I wonder if they're watering it down so they can pay Diddy because, rumor has it they owe him about $2 billion. Yeah, it's more than just Cassie. This case is about more than Cassie and Jane Doe. It's about more than that. In my opinion, it's something that I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but no way they're going this hard. This man's offered $50 million. Right. Mayor, don't play. Don't play. He can't stop, won't stop. Stop it. Stop it. Yeah, I think that at this point he just got to puff have to cool his heels and manage expectations. I mean, this judge here, man, they got to get this case to the appeals court at this point. Because this judge is not giving them anything. I mean, just think about this. This judge witnessed, and here was something else the judge said that I thought was kind of disrespectful when it had to deal with Miss Westmoreland. He said that she had a Perry Mason moment when she cross-examined Miss Bungalow. She had a Perry Mason moment. Why would he use a fictional lawyer when there's enough qualified former lawyers that he could have used? It was kind of disrespectful. she had a Perry Mason moment because of the way she cross-examined Bungalow. You could have referenced Johnny Cochran, a real life attorney, or F. Lee Bailey, or Bill Kunstler. Legends. These are legends I'm mentioning, guys. Legends. Ron Kuby, veteran in the game. A veteran. But you reference a fictional attorney. Perry Mason wasn't real. Who it was played by Raymond Burr. Raymond Burr, Burr, who also played in Ironside. I know you put a one in the chat if you know these who Raymond Burr was, or Ironside, or Perry Mason. Those names sound familiar, guys? Let me see how old you are. Raymond Burr. Right, Juan. Absolutely. Come on. You're old school. Come on, step up, old school. Right. Right. Ironside or Perry Mason. I would listen. I really enjoy watching Perry Mason. But see, those are scripted shows. Those are scripted shows. They knew how to script it for the outcome. They were good shows, but they were scripted. I've seen real life attorneys that are better than the fictional. I've seen it in real time. Masterful. Ryan Steele. Mark Aniflio. Nicole Westmoreland. Amy Garagos. Alexandria Shapiro. Jason Driscoll. Driscoll? Hopefully I'm not jacking his name up. Xavier Donaldson. Right, Bongo. Boy, I tell you, Bongo got she's got immunity. She got immunity. The government said, come on in here. You can come on in here. We're going to give you immunity so you can lie. Where was it? Did he hold you over the balcony in Cassie's apartment, or was it a hotel? Which one was it? Jurors didn't buy it. It sounded like a lie. They said, no. Which one was it? Where did it happen at? And where's this picture? It showed you a picture, and the metadata showed that you were lying. The metadata proved that you were lying. You wasn't banking on the metadata telling a different story. That's right. Einstein was in a wheelchair. Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. He took me off the balcony. He threw me in a bunch of chairs and I hurt my leg. And here's the picture. Well, based on this picture, Mr. Combs was in New York City, and if this happened on the West Coast, then this couldn't have happened. Or you just went in your phone and just grabbed a photo. And see, this is the other thing. The judge should have, at that point, he didn't even hold this bongo or charge her with perjury. The government should charge her with perjury. She was lying. But no, they don't get charged with perjury. They came in to tell a story. They have immunity. Yeah, they don't get charged, and they don't get charged if they are Johns. Only the man gets charged for being a John. Judge in his ruling suggested that there was coercion. Wait a minute. He's charged with bringing escorts from another jurisdiction. The judge is trying to get a second bite at the apple, saying this was coercion. It wasn't coercion. Come on, judge. Cut the crap. This wasn't coercion. Maybe perversion, but not coercion. Oh, my goodness. Right. He said, Nicole, that's right, JC. He said Nicole Westmoreland had a Perry Mason moment trying to diminish the excellent cross-examination that she did. Disrespectful. I know Ms. Westmoreland said, wait, Your Honor. First of all, I'm a woman. If you're going to reference this woman here who did an excellent job at cross-examination, why don't you pick another woman, a real one, not a fictional character, and show some respect? She had a Ruth Ginsburg moment, the same judge that you clerked for. She didn't have a Perry Mason moment. That's fictional. This was real life. This was real life. You referencing a fictional character when they're a fictional character from the 60s. Ooh, maybe 70s. And you got real life great lawyers in 2025. Oh, you couldn't think of any lawyer that was a female that was great, the great in the courtroom that you probably witnessed? Come on, sir. Did you have a brain fart? A brain fart? You just had to bring Perry Mason? Come on, man. Come on. Stop playing. You shouldn't even put Perry Mason in your mouth. What do you mention Perry Mason for? Perry Mason. When he was on TV, you weren't even in this country, I don't believe. I don't think he was even born. I'm sure he wasn't born. Right, Juan. He's right, Juan. He says that when a man's life is in the balance. He said it. Making a joke, a mockery. You're making a mockery of your own court, sir. That was one zinger. The other zinger was, Mr. Combs, you don't want to go back to the MDC, do you? No, Judge. Is that a trick question? Of course he doesn't want to go back to the MDC. Of course he doesn't. But what do I know? What do I know? Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you. I really do. JC, you need to come on up here. You want to come up, JC? Let me know. Because you don't need to be in the comment section, JC. You earned your stripes. You earned your stripes, JC. Come share your experience, JC. Being in New York, covering your first federal trial. Yeah, it was definitely a sexist thing to say to Miss Westmoreland. But she's not gonna say nothing. She's part of the dream team. She can just attribute that to sexism. She had a Perry Mason moment. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. She had a Perry Mason moment. Ha 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 ha. How dare you say such a thing? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you coming in. I really do. I'll see you guys on my next live. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, the notification. When we go live, you guys will get the notification. That little bell right there. Just hit that little bell right there. Ding. Hit that bell right there. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.